Alright, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, welcome back to another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin / Tiny Wars replay commentary. Again, I will not be partaking in this particular match, but instead I will be commentating with my good returning friend CJ. How have you been, CJ?
I've been good.
Yeah, it's we've been playing our own games between times. It's a fun game for both of us. We really enjoy it.
Yep.
But we also enjoy doing these replay commentaries that some people in the Discord have been suggesting, and I happily oblige to do so, and CJ thankfully is here to do another one with me. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the players and the COs. So first off, we have Aidan playing on the yellow side as Brenner. Brenner is known as the defensive CO. He has a zone radius of 3, and all units in the CO zone gain a plus 10% offense and a plus 30% defense. Defense is pretty good in Advanced Wars, would you say, CJ?
Yeah, it's, well, at first it doesn't look like a lot, but then when you actually play against or as Brenner, it makes a huge difference, and as you'll go over later with the CO power, it's a really good synergy between his day-to-day and CO power, so he can keep those units alive and then heal them back.
Yep.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah, it's CJ slightly spoiled. When he gets to 60 points, he uses his power. Every single unit on the map gets a plus 10% offense, a plus 30% defense, and 3 HP. So he's kind of like the Andy of Days of Ruin. 3 HP is globally is very, very nice. When I played Advanced Wars, and every time I play a CO that can heal, it's just very nice that you get to top off your units, and not only that, just add more firepower to your units.
Yeah, and especially in like Fog, you can sometimes catch your opponent off guard where you might be capping something, and then your opponent might think that they did enough damage to prevent a cap, and then you pop your CO power and then are able to cap it a turn earlier than they're expecting. So
Yeah.
that's also nice.
Yeah, not sure if we'll see that this game. Only time will tell. Alright, so his opponent is tcho or tcho, however you want to pronounce it. Player 2 on the red side playing as Greyfield. Greyfield can be described as the defensive naval CO, but as you can see, we don't have ports on this map, but he does get a little extra bonus. So zone radius of 3. All units in the CO zone have a 10% offense and 10% defense. Typically the default CO zone buff for the non-special units. Greyfield special units, however, are that Navy units, seaplanes, and battlecopters in the CO zone will gain a plus 10% offense and a plus 40% defense. Looks like we might have a defensive battle going on here, CJ.
Yeah, and while Greyfield isn't typically known as a very good CO, his battlecopters are surprisingly strong. I mean, having defense on a unit that doesn't usually have defense, it's kind of unexpected how much fire they can really take. Like, they will survive an AA and still be able to put in some decent work after that. So, if you use Greyfield, you do want to be using a lot of battlecopters. Especially on this map, there really isn't much else you're going to get your boost off on, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like with the naval units, they had to give the COs a little extra bonus. Like with Gage, we saw in our last replay, he was typically the naval offensive, but for more abundant units in the armies, they gave him indirects, and they gave Greyfield battlecopters. An interesting thing about his CO zone is that I always saw battlecopters as very fragile. You know, they get shot down by anti-airs, missiles, dusters, even other battlecopters. So this plus 50 defense on these battlecopters with an extra little 20% offense could really carry Greyfield in maps like this.
Yeah, that is important to know. Battlecopter v Battlecopter when you're against Greyfield is not recommended. It's weird because you don't expect it to be. You don't expect to take just as much damage as your opponent, but you end up doing so.
Yeah. Alright, and as for his power, when he gets to 60, his CO power becomes global. All units gain a plus 10% offense, plus 10% defense, and interestingly enough, recover all fuel, ammo, and material. We'll get to that soon. However, his naval units, seaplanes, and battlecopters will gain a plus 10% offense and a plus 40% defense. Alright, so most Advanced Wars players would be familiar with fuel and ammo, but if you've never played Days of Ruin, you would not be familiar with material. Could you fill in on everyone on that, CJ?
Yeah, so 2 units have really material usage. One is the rig, or the APC equivalent in this game, and then the other one is the carrier, which isn't on this map. But let's see, the rig gets 1 usage typically, where they can build a temporary airport or temp port, which can resupply either an air unit or a naval unit, so a rig gets 1 of those. Meanwhile, carriers usually get 4 materials for making seaplanes. We won't see that at all for sure. But yeah, so being able to material is not recoverable for any other character other than Greyfield. He's really good at using seaplanes, but again, that's not something that we will be seeing in this matchup, or on this map.
If we're gonna talk about Greyfield overall, I would say that all of his abilities synergize well together, because although if you have to build a carrier and then build a seaplane, which is very expensive, seaplanes are a good unit, but they run out of fuel so quickly. So those temporary airports where you can refill your seaplane, as well as his CO power, also refueling those seaplanes, just make them last a bit longer, statistical wise, when it comes to fuel.
Yeah, and that's what really makes Greyfield a very situational CO, is he's typically not good because naval doesn't come into play on a lot of maps. But there are some maps where naval does, or can potentially play a factor, like on Erie Lake or possibly Iso Rhythm. Those ones, you might be able to get a carrier out, and in that case, Greyfield becomes actually really strong.
Alright, and that's Greyfield. A lot to take in, but the lack of naval units really makes this CO a bit more simple. Alright, so here we have the map Iconic. It's a pretty nice looking map, almost looks like a puzzle piece if you look at it. Each side has 3 bases, there's mountains in the center, as well as the comm towers off in the corners. Not too contestable unless you're very aggressive to stopping them. But just looking at the comm towers and the bases you can kind of see how the map is kind of split, like diagonal, with each side getting a little bit of the mountains, so they would have to maybe fight around, say, this bottom side or this top side here, or maybe these little choke points in the center could be a bit more defensive, as we just established both of the COs specialize in defense. What do you think of this map, CJ?
I like this map a lot. It's really interesting. It has some strong side, weak side elements where, like, for example, red tends to push more on the top, whereas yellow will push more at the bottom. And there's like, the middle is generally locked, but the sides are where the real fighting happens. And you wouldn't really, I guess, expect how far each player goes on their strong side at first glance, but I think we'll be able to see how far they push in this game. I kind of wish that I could draw on the map, because
I wish that too. I'll figure that out.
Maybe one day we'll figure that out, yeah.
I'm just clicking around where you're referring to give a little visual nod. Alright, so let us begin. It's Fog, and Greyfield starts off with infantry.
Brenner starts.
Oh, Brenner. I'm so sorry, because usually Greyfield is yellow, Brenner is red. All right, so
Right.
Aidan starts off with infantry on the top and a bike on the bottom. What do you feel about this?
I think that's correct. I would go for that because either way, you want to go for that that base in the middle, and an infantry will get there just as fast as a bike on either, or I mean, an infantry at that top base will get there in 2 turns.
Yeah,
same as anything else. So.
Yeah, from these shoals here. And this bike, although an infantry could potentially reach either of these, a bike just gives them that nice little extra movement to capture the further properties. So it's more like a long-term plan to a long-term buy for this bike down here.
Yeah, like if that bike goes down south, right, just straight down, the next capture it has, usually an infantry would not be able to get there, right, on the right, yeah.
Oh, yes.
An infantry would not be able to get there, but a bike can, so just, building a bike early, factoring in the next part of the chain, that's a good strategy.
All right, so Greyfield's music is playing. I personally like it. He already has his set infantry, and he's not going immediately for the base?
Yeah, I think that actually just tends to happen on this map because you don't realize that the beach is walkable terrain. I know that the first time I played on this map, I didn't notice that either. And then I think actually the first time I played this map it was against you. And
it was.
I said that exact thing. I was like, oh shit, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't go for that base immediately. But
I think I made the same mistake too because I bought a bike, and bikes are worse on beaches. But this time he's building a bike on his on the side where the base would be capturable, and he builds an infantry on this far side here. And it looks like he starts off with an extra city too.
Does he start off with an extra city? I actually didn't realize that.
I'll
have to check that back later.
Yeah, we'll have to check that back later. But yeah, he switches a little bit. Bike on the bottom and infantry on the top. Can go for this airport and can go for the city. But as we said, if this infantry goes for the city, he won't be able to reach this city the next turn.
Yeah, so just in this first turn, Aidan is slightly more obvious.
Oh, I'm sorry. He already has a city. My mistake. So immediately goes down, and his infantry is going straight for the base. And infantry builds this time. Maybe he just wants to save a little bit more. That infantry will be able to reach that airport, and in like maybe 2 turns could go for another city.
Yeah, just not too bad.
Yeah. John brings his bike towards the base. You could also do that, but infantry are cheaper. Does his regular captures everything he can closest to him. That bike on the top will be able to reach that city underneath the HQ, and the capturing proceeds, bringing his infantry out more towards the left on his bottom side. Aidan, let's see what he proceeds to do. Captures that city that's in bike range, and as we established, this bike is immediately going straight for that city in 1 turn, not 2 turns like an infantry.
Yeah, this map is relatively small too, so being able to have those even 1 turn advantage on captures is really helpful, especially when getting towards those contested properties.
I want to discuss this infantry going on the mountain here. Looks like it's going for this comm tower in the corner. Do you think this is a bit early?
I mean, I guess either of those captures would be fine. Yeah, early on the comm tower will not matter, of course, but I mean, it still provides income. It's still basically the same value, at least as a city at this point. It doesn't isolate that infantry. He still has the potential for the next captures in the same 2 turns that he would take at any other city. So, yeah, that's probably one of those things where it's like, yeah, you could do it, you could also not do it. It probably doesn't matter that much.
I see. Alright, back to Aidan's Brenner.
Does look like a tcho bought a recon at this point.
Recon, yeah, I see. What would you say? You said that red going top is the more stronger side compared to red going left.
Yeah.
Perhaps would like to take advantage of Aidan's weaker side and get as much information as we can. Although you cannot see a city unless you have a unit that goes past it in Days of Ruin.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. Immediately, what is this, turn 6 and he has a battlecopter, but forgoes
all of his bases.
All of his bases. This is a very early tech up. It is going to force Aidan to respond, but in the long run, base skipping just makes your unit count go smaller, making your turns less dynamic, as well as having less units on the map means that you have less vision. You have less units that could go ahead and scout, and then having another unit come and deal that first strike. So this is a pretty risky, I would say, but he is playing as Greyfield, however, so we could possibly see Chan putting his CO in this battlecopter for that 20% offense and 50% defense.
Yeah, I think that would be reasonable at this point. I still don't think I would go for a battlecopter this early, especially when, like, I mean, well, he wouldn't know, but like a tank is nowhere to be found. But yeah, and then there's a lot of vision in the middle because of the mountains, so you can't really keep that battlecopter hidden either. I'm leaning more towards it's not a great play, because once that battlecopter gets seen, it's just like, oh, build an anti-air. Or maybe 2. That would still be more worthwhile, I think, for the most part. You would deny a CO battlecopter of spacing.
And it looks like Brenner is going for the more safer tank. I personally would say that tanks are the best units to put your COs in. They're affordable, they have nice mobility, nice, firepower, as well as you can join other tanks with them to keep it alive. Because if your CO unit is gone, you have to purchase another CO unit, and you lose all your energy, basically making you retry to get your CO power.
Yeah, the tank is widely regarded as the most standard CO vehicle, so you basically can't go wrong with it.
It's hard to go wrong with a tank.
Yeah.
Alright, Chan's Greyfield proceeds to capture all his cities. Can only see that infantry on the bike, and he's not using his CO in the battlecopter. That's I was really expecting an aggressive CO unit to come out and just be a sturdy battlecopter with plus 25% offense with the CO and the comm tower. Interesting.
Yeah, well, one thing I'm wondering, I've actually never figured this out yet, and I don't know if I will from this game, but I don't know if you can board an air unit from your HQ. I wonder if that's what he's doing, because the HQ is in a pretty decent spot in this map, and so you can board your CO from the HQ. Then you get, like, you delay your basically payment of that cost for an extra turn, which is always nice. Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing you can do. I don't know if I'm gonna find out. But I do want to point out as well that Red knows that there's an infantry on that mountain that can see a lot, and he moved his B-copter in range of that vision. So if Aidan is paying attention, he already knows that a B-copter's out. He can respond really quickly. And so basically, I think that's kind of a blunder, that you gotta factor in what your opponent can see, and what your opponent will basically do to respond. Yeah,
if I was Aidan, I'd probably be very shocked to see this very early battlecopter, but good players can recognize the possible funds that their opponent will have, and if Aidan thinks like that, and if he sees a battlecopter, he might be thinking that he might be ahead in the unit count because he skipped 3 bases at 1 turn for that battlecopter.
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
Spots out this infantry on the bottom, and he builds an anti-air and a mech, and he skips again. How do you feel about this anti-air build?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. Because if you're gonna have a battlecopter out this early, then the thing that you want to watch out is for enemy anti-airs, and in that case, you build a tank.
Yeah.
Heck, you can even build a flare because flares are kind of good against, or like can work decently against enemy anti-airs, right? So, yeah, that would not be the play in my book. But yeah.
Advanced Wars kind of has this triangle of units when it comes to battlecopters, anti-airs, and tanks. Tanks are better against anti-airs, anti-airs are better against battlecopters, battlecopters are better against tanks. So if you're like, if you have a battlecopter, the one thing that you are afraid of are anti-airs, and you usually would want to protect your copter from anti-airs with tanks. But looks like Chan might just be going for like straight air dominance. Like he's gonna take the skies and deny his opponent from air units. But he doesn't have anything that can contest against an anti-air if Aidan responds properly. Anti-air against anti-air, don't do it. You want to protect your anti-airs and make sure they're at the most HP they have to one-shot copters.
Yeah, because even an anti-air at like 5 HP can still do really strong damage against a battlecopter. Like in this game, I think they buffed AAs so that they take like actually no damage from battlecopters. So little. Yeah. Yeah, so then that means like even at low health, they're still effective.
They're the same cost as tanks in this game too.
Yeah.
Alright, defensive. CL Brenner comes out. Doesn't get much intel, but you can see that he's got 2 here on the bottom, 3 units here on the bottom. Alright, so yeah, we're beginning to kind of see perhaps Aidan strong side going towards the right, and slightly towards the left is the strong side for tcho's red on the bottom here. That's what it's starting to look like.
Yeah, I haven't... That is different from the typical development on this map that I've seen, at least. So,
yeah,
let's see.
Haven't seen any major fighting yet. Just a pot shot at this bike will cost him some income, and this tank is now in range of this recon's vision. Aidan, if I remember correctly, didn't scout out with this bike and just gets caught with this CO tank. So now. Chan has very good information against Aidan.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Aidan did not build a... Wait, oh, maybe he didn't have the funds to build an AA, actually, because he boarded his tank.
Alright, first death towards Aidan with the recon and the bike. If we want to... Oh, snap. I forgot how to look at... Uh-oh! I'm sorry! Alright, so Aidan's ahead in one build by 1 building, so he should be getting 17,000 a turn. Nothing was being repaired, so but this is turn 7 though. So yeah. Alright, battlecopter coming in now. Aidan, if Aidan didn't catch the battlecopter before, now he's feeling it, and he's gonna probably be wanting to build a tank. I mean anti-air. And he goes for a second battlecopter and artillery. I think the artillery is pretty interesting here. As we established, like the more center-ish roads here are very choky. Like you just have like 1 or 2 units blocking here, and an artillery sitting in the back can get very nice cover and provide damage.
Yes. Again, tcho has let his AA be revealed, and that's also another unit that you don't want revealed. It's more fine for tanks to be revealed because like you're gonna expect a lot of tanks, but AAs really excel at just being, or it's it's really good to have AAs be sneaky because, you know, since they generally one-shot battlecopters, it's nice to have them in the back, and then you bring them out just to get a kill, and they already pay for themselves in that way. So, having it revealed is also not great, just like with the battlecopter. Yeah, but I mean, this is also like a little bit of an older replay too, so there's stuff, you know, to be learned since then. I'm pretty sure that he's definitely gotten better since then.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, back to Aidan. Now he's gotten a lot of information. Captures a city, but it reveals himself because he's gonna be, because he's on his property. And he's bringing his tank. Oh, man, this is very aggressive. Would you say, CJ?
That's like an understatement.
This is suicide.
I don't. That's wild.
That is wild.
I don't think I've seen. I don't. It's been a while since I've seen someone be that aggressive. Especially when there's. I mean, he has decent vision, but there's still a lot of hidden tiles there.
Oh yeah, like this artillery, artillery. I don't know if air units can be seen from airports, but he doesn't have a unit to reach that far. He's got mech in these ruins, which also acts as a hiding tile. So the interesting question is, if you had this opportunity, would you keep your artillery on the base to fire at this tank?
I think you have. I think Red would have more than an. Well, I think he has enough. What's it called? Enough units to cripple the CO tank, and not even have to kill it. You can probably leave it for a turn and be fine. So you can probably move that artillery out of the way. But it also wouldn't be a bad idea to just outright kill the CO tank. But also Aidan, even though he's being way too aggressive here, he might still be in an okay position because Red does not have their CO out. They're not getting any points. No, it's still probably a bad idea, actually. Yeah.
Nearly one-shot this recon too, but woods have 3 defense in this game, while the cities have 2. So maybe if the woods were 2 stars, probably one-shot. He's getting like plus 15% attack bonus against this recon. Although this recon does have 5% defense. Bike gets caught out on the bottom. Infantry are moving out, trying to. This looks like this might be Aidan's skeleton crew on the bottom, and he builds a tank and an anti-air. Okay, so Aidan responds properly by building his anti-air, but we'll just see how this goes. And yeah, he keeps his artillery on the base to shoot this tank. But I do wonder. I'm not sure I agree with this order though. I mean, this mech does have 9. Now have 9 HP. Probably did pay itself well by helping damaging this tank. But if he attacked with this battlecopter second, this mech would still be healthy with a full 10 HP.
Yeah, that's something that you can kind of optimize for. Is just like, you know, your shooting order. Also, it would be preferable if he boarded his CO copter and he would get, you know, that 10 points or even more. There's a lot of hits in there.
Oh yes.
That he can kill.
Definitely.
So
yeah, but
that's kind of a missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity, but again, it's also foregoing more base production. Yeah, it's just one of those micromanagement things where, like, you have your macro and you're like, okay, we're gonna capture this, capture this, capture that, and then the micro is like, should I get this comm tower now or should I get the city, as well as orders of attacks to preserve as much as you can. And that tank would only put a small dent in the battlecopter, but probably wouldn't put it at 9 HP.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of putting it. I never thought about, like, calling it micro. That would make sense though. How you control your units and stuff. Yeah.
Alright, we got more fighting down here, and aggressively tries to capture the city with a damage unit. Maybe he wants to get some very small vision, but he's got ruins and woods here. He's only getting +1 vision on the more important side. So also he sees this infantry. This infantry is probably going to kill this off. I'm trying to think why Chan would do this. Maybe he wants to force Aidan to use up a unit to stop this cap entirely. Maybe leave it alone for a turn because it'll be safe for a turn, and then have something come in from the back to respond. But this infantry, it's almost like a suicide move. But again, it will make Aidan attempt to do something to stop this entirely.
Yeah, I don't really recommend going for something like that. If anything, I don't remember actually where that infantry came from. If he could have gotten on that mountain instead, I feel like he might have been able to, in which case that would have been preferable. You can at least see more things. You would have a little bit more defense. But yeah, that infantry will, be very likely to just die immediately and be pretty useless.
It probably costs Aidan not as much as you initially might think. And anti-air just going straight towards the left, and Battlecopter gets trapped trying to reinforce the center. But oh wow, if Aidan has the vision, he can get this first strike on this anti-air here. Alright, so it looks like on the top, Aidan's trying to retreat and trying to move his forces down on the bottom, but he ends up revealing his anti-air in the process, but does also reveal this one. Actually, no, I take that back. This probably might have been the cities, but
yeah, the cities revealed them.
But I guess this capturing infantry might have worked in Chan's favor because it forced him to use this anti-air, and now he has information that this side is no longer safe because this anti-air is in the area.
Yeah, that's true.
It might have paid off for Chan,
got
surprisingly. Oh yeah, definitely. Alright, moving his units up, trying to deal as much damage as he can on the bottom. And what? Wait. A missile? He bought a missile? Oh, it looks like he also bought base skip too, but wow, a missile? How do you feel about a missile?
That is overcompensation. He already has a anti-air at the top.
One, two anti-airs and a missile. So
yeah, honestly, I'm not even sure when a missile becomes applicable, like when it becomes like useful over anti-airs, because anti-airs have a very large effective range because they can move so far.
Yeah. There's 7,000 in this game instead of 8,000.
Yeah, they're also way cheaper. So like, there's not very many instances where you want a missile, or like you have to be really zoning out your opponent, or you have to be really worried about dealing with zoning out your opponent, and that's really just not the case here.
Yeah, just not the case here. I guess I'll go ahead and plug in a small example. If you guys saw my Tasha versus Wayland video, and my opponent just had like these expensive bombers coming out, and it was like kind of choky, where I couldn't get any anti-airs out there. That's when I bought a missile, and the missile did eventually pay itself off. But considering the circumstances of this map, it just feels like it's a bit much, because he already has 2 anti-airs. Maybe might expect a tank on the bottom to damage this anti-air on the bottom, but he's already got one at the top. Even so, he has 1 anti-air to cover the bottom, 1 anti-air which might most likely cover the top, and this missile is just, I mean, it has the distance. It could go past these mountains if he ever finds anything over here, but if you already have units that are being damaged, most likely you should have like an anti-air that can reach around these mountains to deal damage.
Yeah, to be fair, like some of the units are positioned such that Red's battlecopters can shoot from a safe distance, and so like the missile in a sense is kind of like a surprise attack.
Oh yeah.
Or can act as such. But yeah, missiles generally will excel more when there's like inaccessible terrain, like in Erie Lake, when you have the entire lake that is open for air units.
Central Lake with all those bridges.
Yeah. Wait, what was that?
Central Lake?
Oh, Central Lake. Yeah, I've never played that one, but
okay.
Yeah, you played that one before.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really, it's not the worst map to have a missile on, but still, you would rather have tanks, or even more capture units if needed. Probably not more tanks. Like, I don't know how much money he has exactly, but missiles cost what, 12,000 or something. So yeah, you could have gotten a tank and a flare even. Yeah. Yeah,
this is starting to turn into a more air-dominated battle than a ground-dominated battle. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. All right, turn 9 for tcho, and Battlecopter is chipping down these mechs. Okay, now he builds his CO zone, but it could have moved onto closer towards these Battlecopters. When you load a CO in your unit, it doesn't take up their turn. They can move once they've done that very specific action, and this tank has nice mobility to just get up closer and assist these Battlecopters and all these other attacking units.
Yeah, you definitely want to factor that in your kind of micro play, because that does matter a lot. Getting your CO energy, not only does it build towards your actual CO power, but it's also a threat. It makes your opponent nervous, or it can at least, depending on how they play or what they think about.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, kind of interesting coming from Chan right now. He's got his Battlecopters behind the mountains, so I can maybe kind of see now why Aidan would want to missile in this situation, because yeah, he's got units that are protecting this bottom side, stopping this anti-air from getting this strike on this Battlecopter, but he builds another anti-air and skips his base again. Yeah, I just feel like so far, as of right now, it just feels like that this battle has too many anti-airs so far.
Yeah, I remember seeing before that, like, I think I saw a video about like the other Advance Wars games, like Advance Wars 2, where someone recommended that you build one anti-air to 2 Battlecopters.
Or like 1.5 Battlecopters. If you see 3 Battlecopters, then you would want to build 2.
Yeah, in this game, AAs are even better than in the other games. So like you don't actually need that many. For me, at least, my personal rule of thumb is just to have one covering each front.
Oh, yeah.
And if one gets damaged, consider having a backup. But if that costs you, if there's a huge cost to that, which in this case, you're base skipping, then I would not recommend doing that.
Currently, the unit count is still very close, but the unit value between Aidan and Chan is very, very different.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I was not expecting that, but I think that's probably because like Aidan lost his CO unit so early. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn 10 for Aidan. How will he respond to this central onslaught? Moves his missile down to the ruins. It will be hidden. Looks like he's trying his best to capture any of Chan's properties, and he builds his CO unit in the anti-air. I don't think Aidan had a tank to put this on, so a substitute CO for a substitute unit for the CO anti-air. What do you think about this?
Aidan actually could have boarded his tank on the bottom 2 turns ago. He might have forgotten about that. But that would have been much more optimal because would have gotten it out earlier. I think he would have also gotten some energy off of that tank earlier too if he had it out. But if nothing else, an AA will suffice.
Especially in a situation where he's staring down 2 battlecopters.
Yeah.
This missile, it's in a hidden place, but it also covers most of the mountain areas. It also covers most of the mountain areas.
Yeah. The missile will be hopefully doing work soon, but like again, the only reason why that missile was necessary was to protect the units that were on the mountain, and in that case, it probably wasn't too great of an idea to have all those infantry and mechs on those mountains. Even though you get so much vision, you probably don't need all of that.
Yeah, I just noticed something here on the bottom that Aidan, John has a tank down here, and he had a battlecopter here that was like finishing off this infantry. I think the battlecopter most definitely would have had the mobility to loop around and attack inside the zone to gain his points. Right now he's at 23, so maybe he could have gotten a little bit more before he could boost his CO zone up by 1 tile.
Yeah, those micro opportunities definitely kind of show, or those things are definitely improvements that really people need to make as they continue playing Days of Ruin. Those things matter a lot over time.
Yeah, order of attacks, trying to get the most value out of your turns is can help you win games. Builds his 3rd battlecopter and a flare. So finally we're seeing a flare. Alright, everyone, sorry about that weird little cut that you might have seen. It's just something was happening, and but it's under control now, and we'll be able to resume this replay. You ready, CJ?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, so kind of like went back to like turn 11, trying to recollect what's going on here. First thing I see is that if Chan doesn't go near the top comm tower, Aidan might be able to get both of the comm towers, which might be a small little boost that he's gonna need.
Yeah, like comm towers, sometimes they don't feel super impactful, but when you have both, or when you have 2 comm tower advantage, that's 10% or 10-10 advantage. That's big. Also, just the income. Oh, and he does see it. Okay.
Yeah, he does see it, and also last turn got a bit of a little overextension here on the bottom side from Aidan, and Chan is able to punish. He's got 1 battlecopter in the zone. It was able to do a significant amount of damage to that tank earlier. So I would say that Chan is like making good use of his CO zone, although personally I would prefer the other side where it's easier to reinforce. But it's also where Aidan's forces are, trying to push in and form a little bit of a wall at that choke, and trying to fight that top side in hopes of maybe getting that comm tower. Then we see looks like we see a medium tank here. Built on Aidan's. I prefer this the weak side, kind of, and it looks like it's going to be heading down to reinforce against these tanks. But currently, other than a missile, nothing to really have a secure kill on this battlecopter here.
Yeah, I mean it's not too bad of a situation though. I think a medium tank there is definitely pretty good. It'll get in the way of that CO tank. It won't be feeding any. It won't really be feeding any energy. You have that missile there. You can bait that battlecopter into the missile. So And especially if Sean does not know where the missile is. He might know where it is. I'm not really sure yet, but I don't think he does.
All right. I think he's aware that that it exists somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and if he does not,
is that within range?
It should be in range. If he doesn't if he doesn't spot it out now, that battlecopter is going to die. And again, we see Aidan's CO unit just. I believe it's like the second or third time that it's lost, and
yeah.
I am questioning this build right here. I don't think Chan has recently seen any enemy battlecopters. He just keeps building these anti-air, and it looks like it's just going to keep attacking infantry and foot soldiers, but that's not great value from 2 anti-airs.
No, it is not. I don't remember seeing any battlecopters from Aidan, to be honest.
I don't think so either. Alright, so let's go back to Aidan, see if he can capitalize. That missile is going to get some value, and it finishes off that really hefty battlecopter. Builds his CO zone in this medium tank. I personally like this a lot.
That's not a bad decision at all.
Yeah, it's like if you lose your first CO unit, if you put it in a tank or recon, and if that dies, if you reinforce it with a tech up, say like a medium tank, then it's a nice backup option. Especially they're more bulkier, and even Brenner is giving it a huge defense boost.
Yeah, and it's also going to contest Chan's CO as well. Although he probably will get the CO power first, but it's a Greyfield CO power. It's not as strong.
It's not as strong.
I mean, there's no seaplanes here, so
no, there are no seaplanes. There's no temp airports built by Chan as well. But yeah, like I said, Greyfield, if you try to use everything he has at his disposal, it's way too slow. So just try to use what you can with immediate value, such as defense from the battlecopters.
Yeah.
Alright. Artillery makes a retreat, and that anti-air, as I predicted, it's just going to keep shooting infantry, because there's no air units for Chan to target. As of right now...
Yeah, it's...
Go ahead.
Actually...
Oh.
Okay, I guess I was gonna say that, I mean, it's not... It's something, but it's definitely not preferable. Usually having a tank would just be better. It contests more, it zones out, more units.
Yeah.
Since there are no air units to be seen at all, like, they're just not as strong.
Yeah. Although it does look like that Chan is kind of holding the air dominance here. This anti-air is fresh from Aidan, and it's going to take a few turns for it to reinforce against these 2 battlecopters. He's got this missile kind of sitting comfortably here on the bottom. I mean, I believe it's killed like 2 or 3 copters, so it's kind of gotten its worth. But once it's found, it's going to have to be quickly reinforced with something else.
Yeah, I mean, he already got the value out of it. He doesn't, he's not sad if it dies.
Oh wow, and that tank barely survives thanks to the default CO zone boost. So
yeah, and the city bonus.
So would you say this is overextension, or he's got some nice distance from Chan's bases?
I think it's decent. Medium tanks are quite strong, especially when there's no battlecopters to be seen in that area. And as far as I think the main thing that Aidan should be worried about at this point is any artilleries, because artilleries are really what are going to kill medium tanks. Usually regular tanks are not going to do it. And even a regular medium tank is not going to cut it against a CO. medium tank, right? Did I say that? Regular medium tank, yeah.
Yes.
Will not cut it against a CO medium tank. And as it stands right now, his vision is alright. It's not amazing, but it's enough to ensure that there are no artilleries in the area against that medium tank.
Yeah, just one hiding in the city here. And before we move on to Chan's turn, looks like he's built a medium tank on the top to try and reinforce. I would say it's okay. He's got a lot of foot soldiers here. He's got the anti-air for air units. He's got the medium tank, which is a tech up from the other units. But he's going to have to try to hold something if he's going to keep this top side defended.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was necessarily intentional by Aidan, but retreating right there is not bad because there are no capturing units from Chan's side in the area, at least within a couple turns. So Aidan is actually like chilling.
Yeah, that flare's putting in some work, giving Chan the information. Although base skipping again, unfortunately, but it looks like Chan was trying to respond with this anti-tank that he built here on the bottom.
Yeah, that could be all right. I personally prefer just spamming out a bunch of artillery. Then you wouldn't have to base skip. You would be able to build something else, even like a flare on that extra base, right?
It would. It does 65 damage to a medium tank, but this is a Brenner, a medium tank that we're talking about, so it's probably going to do maybe 30 damage, which is alright. He's also got artillery here, which also do pretty alright against medium tanks. This battlecopter, it's going to have to be careful once to move in because this missile can actually cover a lot of range.
Yeah. But, yeah, Aidan just needs to not overextend again.
Yeah, it's cost him his last two CO units. So, alright, so he's got significant forces here. Interrupts that cap on the bottom. Waits his missile, I guess an OCD thing. There's nothing to target for that missile. A flare coming up, hopefully gonna finally provide some decent vision. And kind of spreading his forces thin out a little bit. And again, actually no, I don't think it matter. Okay, it does matter a little bit about the whole macro-micro thing. Aidan probably could have gotten a bit more energy had he attacked this medium tank first and then followed it up with the tank.
Yeah, I can't remember if the tank was in range of the CO zone or not. But now that you mention it, it might not have been.
Yeah, and I'm also noticing that he's kind of spreading himself thin. I mean, sure, they're all on hidden tiles, so he's gonna have to drive past one of them to spot it out. But this flare, it has one more shot left. So if Chan decides to shoot it in the right place, then all these hidden tiles won't matter at all, and Chan might be able to push through in a way.
Possibly, yeah. We'll see.
Let's see if he goes for that play. Artillery, just shooting what you can see, and he barely misses it. Well, he intended to shoot it here, which is okay, but there was, like, possibly a bit more information he could have gotten. Moving this bike in, it's trapped, but now he sees everything that's on this hidden tile. Probably would have liked to kill this anti-air and secure his air dominance, but he's already blocked himself off with this bike. But he still goes for it anyways, does a nice 7 damage. Oh, no, he broke through.
Oh, I guess he will go.
He loops around, so he sees this medium tank, but now he's got the air dominance and a significant 4 damage done on that top side. And Chan is just like one-shotting almost everything. That builds a nice little cover around his anti-air, and this anti-tank is also going to cover this bottom side as well. So we have this artillery covering in front of this anti-air, and this anti-tank is actually kind of overlapping with the artillery, but also covering a lot more spaces.
Yeah, he definitely wants to prevent that cap, and that anti-tank will, I guess, do that unless there's a higher value target there.
if this medium tank possibly makes its way up. And he builds a mech on the back base. I don't agree with this. I feel like you swap these two builds with the bases, the mech is going to get to the front lines a lot closer than back here.
Yeah, I would also agree with that. I would prefer to put the mech further up. They're so good in combat, but they just take so long.
Alright.
So you want to give them, you know, as much as they can.
Alright, we got a decent flare from Aidan's bottom side, able to spot out the artillery, tank, and anti-air. Gonna not step into that trap. Medium tank trying to slowly move up, builds his own artillery, anti-air, and infantry. So a very defensive turn from Aidan. Alright, now artillery, now anti-air moves in to interrupt the cap.
Does that missile hit?
I'm sorry, did that what?
Does that missile have range?
I was about to check that.
It does not.
This is another important thing to do when playing Advanced Wars is to make sure that your units stay close enough to cover. I mentioned earlier how Aidan was thinning himself out in the defensive formation, which is fine, but if you won't be able to get any great counterattacks if you don't keep your units close together. Like if I know it's a hidden tile, and Aidan probably wanted that, but this hidden tile is not covering two sides of from the missile range, and Chan was fortunate enough to attack from the bottom side, because at this point he knows a missile is somewhere, but he doesn't know where, and this bottom side is the safest place where he could attack.
Yeah, I wonder if that's if that was intentional or if that was just a fluke.
Well, it is a little unfortunate how when you have your units diagonal, if they attack one side, they will reveal the other side, and it looks like Chan is making a push on the bottom, and he's capturing two cities on the top, covering them with artillery. He probably won't get these cities, but he has some really good counterplay if Aidan was going to try to interrupt those caps. Alright, again, mech on the top side, I personally don't agree. Your further bases, build the units with the most mobility.
Yep.
Turn 17 for Aidan. Flares out a bit of it, and is actually outside of range of the artillery and the anti-tank. So not too bad, but realizes that he's probably going to want to pull his missile back, because if Chan makes the push through this little choke point here, that missile will be revealed from that drive-by. Alright, looks like we're getting topside control from... oh, hold on a second. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, as for this top side, Aidan was able to stop that cap, interrupt this other one, and actually spot out the artillery. I said it was decent cover, but I didn't say it was like perfect cover for those cities.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still not looking great for Aidan, to be honest.
Yep, and I believe that's his third CO unit that he's lost this game so far.
Yeah, it's a little weird because, you know, you typically don't see Brenner losing CO units that often. Also, that bike back there has been hidden for kind of a while.
It is. The only thing that it can do is just like capture something and force Chan to use one of his units. Alright, so it looks like he's finally, Chan's finally teched up with his own tank. Which, right now, he looks like he's in a pretty good position. Aidan had a medium tank that died, and his other one here is damaged at 8 HP. Could go back, repair, and then maybe reinforce on the top. But that's in like 2 turns. While this one could start barreling down right now.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see how Aidan responds to this. Alright, so he sees a lot on that bottom side. That missile should be in range of that. It is in range of that battlecopter. And
dude, that missile's actually just gonna get all its kills and run out of ammo.
It's almost hilarious to see a missile run out of ammo, honestly.
Yeah.
Alright, and Aidan is trying to make a push on the top here, but with the numbers that he should probably be seeing, it's a bit of an overextension, I would say.
I think
the flare is gone, at least for now, but let's see how this works out. Join. Alright, Chan join caps the bottom side. And again, he's kind of like walling up a bit. Alright, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. He has... Does he have income advantage? Oh, maybe no, it's even, actually.
It might be even.
I believe it's even. Yeah.
Building 17. So it's even, but oh, unit counts. He's 6 behind, so almost 20,000 in value behind as well. But so it's a lot closer than it looks right now. But I would say that Chan has like solid positioning here on his bottom side. He's got 2 indirects to cover most of his units down there.
Yeah, I think Chan is in a really good position. He just needs to push up slowly, have his indirects cover, and he'll be pretty much golden. Yeah,
you don't want to push too far when you have this advantage. Overextension can kill. You feel like you might win, and you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but then you put yourself closer to your enemy's reinforcements, and then they will start having fights won down there. Alright, some decent vision running through those mountains, getting those attacks. That battlecopter though, that's
still in range.
The missile still has ammo. So yeah, it's a mountain. Probably thinks the missile might be somewhere, probably back here. If Chan was to attack, bring this battlecopter up here, he has to think it's down here. But if that's the case, then he's thought wrong.
Yeah, it's just. Who would have thought that missile that we did not think it was gonna do anything in this game.
We honestly.
I did not think it was gonna be that useful this game.
I didn't think as well. I mean, I guess we could say that the best thing for a missile is keep it hidden, and like leave your opponent guessing where it could be. Because now, a while ago, Chan built a flare on the bottom, but looks like Aidan is still gonna keep that missile hidden, and that is so much value off of that missile. I honestly cannot believe it.
Yeah, like I know that Chan has an advantage in this game right now, but man, he's lost so much value to that one missile.
Yes, it's a good thing Chan built his CO unit in a tank rather than a battlecopter. It will be inflicted heavily by that missile, but not sure by how much, because the defense boost from Greyfield on those battlecopters is pretty insane.
So we're finally starting to see the first real material cracks in this game for Aidan with the capture of that bottom left city. So now Chan has a distinct income advantage as well as just a numbers and unit value advantage. It's not looking great for him.
It's not. Build some mechs on the bottom. I guess this is okay. It is a little closer than that third base on the top. But yeah, it looks like Aidan's flared out some spots here, trying to kill every little thing he can. He's got that medium tank on the top, which can only really be contested by an artillery and a battlecopter. But that anti-air can take care of that battlecopter. The flare can spot out indirects. A nice catch-up turn for Aidan, but nothing major has paid off just yet. And oh, that artillery got exposed, and that artillery is now nearly useless. Nearly.
Yeah, see, all these anti-airs that Sean has, they could have been tanks. They would have been much better there.
They would have.
Considering that Aidan has literally almost never had any air units.
Yeah. Is this the first rig that we see this game?
Yes, you don't see them often. But I mean, I guess if you're gonna see them from anyone, it would be Greyfield.
It would, yes, would definitely be Greyfield. Gotta build that 10 port somewhere.
Yeah.
And I know we've been talking about how Aidan's kind of been overextending a little bit, but Chan's kind of on the top, but I guess it's a nice push because that medium tank has taken a lot of damage, and there's barely any reinforcements on that top side. Oh, and looks like
Aidan timed out.
Aidan timed out, but would you honestly say that this is a decent point to resign?
I think it would be. If you go back just one, there's not a lot of play for Aidan here. He's down by almost
2,000 funds.
I mean, well, after he buys for this turn, he would still be down like 1 or 2 turns worth of income. So that's kind of big. And like just looking at the map, there's not a lot of play for him. He can't. Everything seems to be pretty well defended, based on what he knows and what he's seen, as well as just like what you can kind of assume your opponent has as well. He's just gonna be slowly suffocated. So yeah, if I was Aidan here, I would also, probably resign as well.
Yeah. So a few things we could maybe pull from this match is know your limits in a way, because you don't know where you can and cannot overextend.
Yeah, especially in fog, you need to have good vision and you need to actually act on it. Like, you need to use the information that you have.
Even if it means even if it means losing a few battle copters, you should at least be aware that like this missile. I'm blown away by this missile, actually. So kudos to Aidan for almost running out of ammunition with his missile. This was a fantastic missile, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't want to be losing like your CO 4 times. You need to have that awareness. You need to have the vision to support, especially your main force, if you're gonna push that hard. So yeah, that would be my main takeaway from this game: is overextension. It's really difficult to deal with. It's hard because you feel like you're winning by so much, and the tables turn on you. So
yeah, even though Brenner is like the quote-unquote defensive CO, it doesn't mean that your units are invincible.
Yeah, and especially not if you can't get your CO power, because the CO power definitely heals up your units. It makes them practically immortal, but you gotta get there first.
Oh yes. Alright, so thank you guys again so much for watching another replay commentary. It's always fun to do this with you, CJ.
Yeah, you too. Or me too. I enjoy this a lot.
If you guys have any replays that you would like us to review, feel free to personally DM me. Are your DMs open?
I'm not sure if they are. You can also just ping me on the Tiny Wars Discord.
Oh yeah, or also
sure
ping us. You can maybe put it down in the featured content tab in the Discord, which I will put a link in the description below. We are always open to review your crazy, insane games from these Tiny War replays.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Alright, so I guess that's enough from both of us today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. I am Advanced Warrior.
And I'm CJ.
And you all have our warmest regards. Please take care.